So, the minotaur is a creature from ancient Greek mythology with the body of a man and the head and horns of a bull. It was said to be the offspring of Queen Proserpis of Crete and a majestic bull that was conceived after Proserpis' husband, King Minos, refused to sacrifice the bull to the sea god Poseidon. The minotaur was confined to the labyrinth, which was a complex maze designed by the architect Daedalus. The creature was said to be ferocious, feeding on human flesh. Now, in order to appease the monster, Minos demanded that the city of Athens send 7 youths and 7 maids to be sacrificed to the minotaurs every 9 years. Now, unfortunately, this horrific ritual continued up until the hero Theseus, son of the king of Athens, volunteered to go to Crete and slay the minotaur with obviously the help of Ariadne, Minos' daughter, who had fallen in love with Theseus. He had actually successfully navigated the labyrinth, killed the monster, and escaped. Now, the reason why I decided to pick the minotaur in particular was when it usually comes to Greek mythology, people only really think of, I feel like, the gods. So I decided to go with the minotaur for this assignment. And the artworks that I have decided to pick, the first one actually being revolving around Theseus and Minotaur, and the second one also revolving around Theseus and the Minotaur. And of course, kind of explaining how these artworks were conceived, where they are, and everything about them. So, of course, for the first one, it is called the statuary group of Theseus and the Minotaur, which was found in Plague in Athens, shown on the screen right now. And it has a preserved height of the statue of Theseus, which is 82 centimeters, and of the Minotaur, it is 73 centimeters. Now, something to acknowledge here about this was that even though Proserpis has been detected tenderly holding an infant minotaur, it's in reality the newborn's look was just terrified, and this is something that is mainly confused. And when I had done my research, I was surprised to find something out about this. Now, this sculpture in particular, it was founded in 1664, both the Theseus and Minotaur, and it depicts this kind of relentless clash between this Athenian hero and this monster, and it's been this mainly just in general just really intense battle that had happened. This then kind of leads me into how the Minotaur legend was established in literature and in visual arts from a very early date, and how actually the beast symbolized death that no human could escape from. And it actually made me very intrigued, because how the Minotaur story was developed and how it all happened from kind of this showing these really, I'd like to say, awkward truths of how civilizations were, how many of their conquests were. For example, the violation of nature. While even though Poseidon was the one who forced this upon to them, in reality, this was still his fault for not wanting to sacrifice this bull to Poseidon. Now, of course, this also has to do with the just in general, like the human sacrifice as well, which I found really ironic, because he was willing to sacrifice humans and not this bull. But more or less that it was just really weird of how they displayed these awkward truths. But of course, for the next sculpture that I'm going to be talking about is going to be Theseus and the Minotaur when they were fighting, and how kind of the battle would have looked in a sense. This is how the sculpture displayed it. How exactly, and it displayed it really, I felt it was really nice of how it displayed. Of course, that it is in particular how he's attempting to kill the creature in the scenario. So right there, the sculpture. It's mainly, I would like to say that when we're looking at both of these sculptures and what exactly it represents and how exactly I've done my research is when we're looking at human and human impacts, I would like to say is that this story has shown just just kind of how I have talked about earlier, the irony of not wanting to give this bull away, but then in order to maintain and make sure that this minotaur doesn't hurt anyone, they build a prison around it, and then they sacrifice all of these human lives in the process. Just was a really just fascinating story to me. I've always liked the minotaur. Also shown in the clip that I have provided, these are clips of the Minotaur technically, but just something to kind of give some information of the clips of just not being just using some random video game character that was given the Minotaur skin, is that something I would like to kind of point out is that Reinhardt, who has been the person shown in the clips, has been this more like one of his abilities is to charge, and of course that being related to the Minotaur. And just overall, his kind of ambition is just to go out there and just kind of destroy, like, protecting kind of what his thing was, which I felt like was really connected to the Minotaur. So it's also kind of the media why I chose this. But yeah, I really do enjoy the Minotaur. I hope these sculptures and explanations have provided a good briefing on it. Thank you very much.